Good morning, friends. It is Wednesday, April the 1st, April Fool's Day. I don't have a good joke for you today, but I was struck as I was thinking and preparing for this message about how in all of our intelligence and wisdom, we seem to be made very foolish by the smallest of things, a virus. As we come together into this moment of reflection and meditation, I pray that your hearts and minds would be open, that your soul and your spirit, if would be open to the words that we speak, the way of life that we embrace. I want to begin by reading from the Message version of the Bible by Eugene Peterson, from part of Paul's letter to the Philippian church. We're in chapter 1, and we're reading verses 25 and 26. So I plan to be around a while, companion to you as your growth and joy in this life of trusting God continues. You can start looking forward to a great reunion when I come to visit you again. We'll be praising Christ, enjoying each other. Paul's been talking about whether it's better to be alive or dead. And he's in prison as well. And so there's a lot going on in his life. And that reminds us of the things that are going on in our life today, because we know that there are people that are sick from the coronavirus. There's people that are having just the regular everyday things that happen in their lives. We know that there are many that have died. And these are not just numbers. There's a person and a family, a household that's behind each and every of those numbers. And so our hearts goes out to them and to you if you're watching. But as we gather today, Paul is talking about that, it's been better to live, not just to die, because there's many good things that come out of that. And it's better to stick it out. Now he's talking about being a companion to others in that time. And I think, in this time of change, that's important, because whether we like it, change is happening in every single one of our lives. Most of us are grieving. We're grieving, maybe the sickness and death that has happened in our own lives. The isolation, our loss of connection, the loss of what has been normal up to now, the financial impact. I resonate with that. My wife Esperanza was put on halftime last week with her employer. So we certainly see those things. Well, there was a great article written in the Harvard Business Review, and it referenced David Kessler, one of the world's foremost experts on grief. I invite you to go look up that reference. And it's also posted in my sermon last week on Corona United Methodist Church website. But David Kessler talks about anticipatory grief. What is anticipatory grief? Well, one, it's something we're all struggling. It's like, here's this great big storm coming in, or this virus that is threatening us. And we know, the storm doesn't care, the virus doesn't care. And so it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you may be, what you live, it's a threat. And so it's something that we are all afraid of. That's anticipatory grief. The storm that's coming, the threat that's coming, we don't know what to do. And in fact, we're not sure anything we do will help to keep us safe from that. The power of that is we're all struggling with that at the same time. There's nowhere in the world that is not struggling with that. And that's what Paul is talking about. In those moments, is it better to live or die? It's better to live. Because while we may be in a good place after we die, we go to heaven to be with the Lord or go to our ancestors or whatever it is that we may believe, it's better to be here because there's great things that are going on, that is good work that is happening. We are in relationship with God, and that relationship we have with God connects us to a relationship with others. And it's in those relationships that we find the opportunities for life and growth and joy. We begin to pardon one another, for the things that have happened. We can begin to heal. We can begin to bring the divisions that are so readily apparent, particularly in American society right now, back together. We can realize we are better together than we are apart. And that takes a great amount of work, but there's a great opportunity here that is before us. But it begins with some important things. One, we have to care for others. We have to show compassion for those who are without. We need to be patient with one another, realizing that maybe we're going to be angry or we're going to speak out in denial or we're going to say some harsh words. And that may be who we are now in this moment of anxiety and stress and fear, but that's not who we really are. We don't have to be that way. We should remember who we can be and who we really are are. And when we look at others, stock up on the compassion that we need to treat each other that way. But it begins with trust. You need to trust in a greater being, a higher power, a Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, whoever that may be for you. For me, the path is the path of Jesus, who taught us this and who showed us a new way to live. The way of reaching out and the way of being a companion to others with love and grace. And that way also heals us. We begin to become a part of that pardoning and healing process. And as we work with others, we also become better. We become hardened. We become healed. And as we do that, there's great joy. There's great growth that happens, and we can look forward. I have to tell you, one of the things, folks, is that I think Christmas and the holidays at the end of the year is going to be a party like no others, if God willing, we have worked through this virus, because, there's so many things that are being canceled right now. We need a party. We need a time. We need a joy. So think of the best party, the best celebration you have ever been to. That's what life is like we're with God. When we can celebrate and live freely and openly without fear and anxiety. Yes, we deal with the grief. We can work through our denial, our anger, our pardoning, our sadness, and our acceptance. But at the end of the day, as David Kessler says, we can find meaning and purpose. We can find health. And so I hope in this time you are able to do so. And you're able to do so by the grace of God. Esperanza reminded me we haven't been closing regularly in prayer, and so while I'm learning how to play the guitar in my time off, I'm not going to play for you, but I want to use this tone to help us learn a brief form of prayer today, and it's called a breath prayer. It can be done, no matter what your faith background may be. And so I'm going to invite you to find a place that's comfortable to sit, hopefully, as you're able, if your feet are flat or you're not all twisted up, get in a place where it's comfortable and easy to breathe. If you fall asleep in the middle of this, that's okay. That says your spirit needs rest. I'm just going to invite you as we begin now to breathe in and breathe out. Just breathe in the good. Breathe out the negative. Let's do one more. Breathe in. And breathe out. And it may help you in a breath prayer to have a phrase. For example, you could breathe in, holy, and then breathe out, spirit. Whatever phrase works for you. Perhaps Abba, Father, or Amma, Mother, maybe Wonderful, Counselor, or Great Spirit. So I just invite you to continue your breathing. If your mind seems to get directed, be gentle with it. Just bring it back. Say that prayer. Just let yourself be before the Lord. I'll give you a tone. We'll spend a couple of moments. And I'll give you two tones in the last minute. Let us pray. yourself begin to come back. Take 30 seconds or a minute. And welcome back. I hope that was refreshing to you. I think going ahead, if you're interested, you can send me a note. I'll post the contact information. We'll try a different form of prayer or meditation each day during the week. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Be well.